Glitch the guarantee. E&E. With your boy shit. Glitch, nigga. Shit, I'm about to flood the streets like when the levees break. Criminal minds, my Garcia can navigate. Flowing while I'm blowing this gas. Nigga, no brakes. Niggas not seeing me ever. I mean, no dates. Fuck around and end up gone. You get in this place. E&E, the shit that I claim. You dealing with grace. Took over the game by storm like Rain's mixtape. Thankfully, I've been up in smoke like my mixtape. Counting cheddar shit, I'm about to make a grilled cheese. Niggas be faker than bad bitches with good weeds. On my John Wick shit like Keanu Reeves. Replacements won't be enough, you need the whole team. I've been a G since I could finish my ABCs. Kept it a buck so real niggas look up to me. This butcher boy shit get crazy. When it's sick of me, I'm coughing out these dope bars till they sick of me.
Can't get rid of me, still can't find a remedy. Still blowing palmers, if it comes to Hennessy. E&E, we own our shit independently. When I go out on the limb, I take extremities. I can see right through transparency. Heard their self-esteem low, insecurities. Now or never like, Glitch the guarantee. What's the recipe? King L's Reflection 3. All these chapters in my life, you can turn a page. Books can't tell you my story, gotta live and dance. Glitch got my back, yeah, you can copy that. Man, we control the scene, you can copy that. Leave your whole state red like Republicans. Put fire on a track, now it's bubbling. Put your boys E&E, you in trouble, kid. Add first 100 mil, you can double.
Let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. Automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga, let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. It's automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga, let's go.
Blow sick, corona, jealous in the motherfucker. Can't even take a step, that's how far I trust you. This black boy turned to shine the king under pressure. West side fat jacks, I took more to measure. Shake the extras, that's business starter fees. Street blues, what I talk, royal blood flowing free. Power on my mind, no say gang is kind. Read between the lines, it was in my eye. If they ain't got real lines, it ain't hard to spot a counterfeit. Undefeated, ultra real, firm, gully mountain shit. Couple hot shots, turn on the frozen margaritas. Even better when it's served with some flawless features. Next year they gotta pay for these flawless features. Flawless victories from the flaws that they teach us. Now my flow imitate how I board the plane non-stop. The little J gon' take over with my time stop.
Yeah, I get right to it. My nigga, we begging pardon. We putting niggas back in boxes. Yeah, they need harder. My flow be retarded. Sick, I need hella help. My groove came back. This must be how Stella felt. We just started kicking it like a yellow belt. We all made it to the pros. This is how LaMelo felt. You better yell out help. Here comes the double team. You catch me in the spot, then you know that the boy is clean. The Louis V look mean with the magazine. So if you try it, you get shot. No vaccine. If you was asleep before I came, then I'm the caffeine. I pulled the jokers out the deck. Yeah, there ain't no laughing. It's CEO fashion. We sticking to the business. Wouldn't even let a vegan knock me off my chick. Man, something about the BBS when the sun is hitting. Should be flashing like the lights when you getting
Let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. It's automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga, let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. It's automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga, let's go.
Yeah. What up? You already know it's the man about town, Virgil Berry, a.k.a. Stacks with the Facts. And y'all know y'all tuned in to another episode of Real Talk Podcast, Sunday night, Spiritual Roots Editions. Andrea, what's good with you, baby? Blake Monger, what's good? Blessings. Manners, blessings, and respect to everybody in the building. How y'all doing on this beautiful Sunday evening? It's raining out here in Ohio, man. I don't know what y'all weather is out y'all's way. You know what I'm saying? But we getting rained out here in Columbus right now, but it's all good. I've just been chilling all weekend, relaxing, getting the thoughts together and everything for this week coming up. We got a nice show coming up. We got a nice week of shows coming up for y'all this week. As usual, we starting off Sunday night with the Spiritual Roots. You understand what I'm saying? Uncle Diggity in the building. What's good with you, brother? Hey, you hear me? Appreciate y'all coming out tonight, man. You know what I'm saying? We got a chock-filled week coming up again, but it's only right that we start the week off right with this Sunday night Spiritual Roots series featuring me and my pops. You know what I'm saying? He's still having a situation with his phone, so I'm going to have to call him again, but it's all good because we're going to get it together. You know what I'm saying? Monday, tomorrow night, I'm going to have my brother, Mr. Pringles, the barber, on the show. You know what I'm talking about? Have my barber come in, say my barber that gets me nice and crispy, get the beard together for me, get the cut together for me. I've been knowing him for about a good 18 going on years now. And we've been brothers since we first met in the joint back in the day. And he's a licensed barber now, and he's taking his barbering business to new heights and new horizons. And we're going to tap in tomorrow night, discuss some of that stuff with him. We're going to, of course, discuss what inspired him to get into barbering and cutting hair, the trials and the tribulations along the way, and, saying where he at now and where we're going in the future. And plus, we're going to drop and chop up mad hella game. You already know how it is. Y'all like my haircut? You hear me? Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? How y'all doing tonight, man? Uncle Diggity in the building. What's good? Andrea, what's good? Blake Monger, what's good? You know what I'm talking about? Hit that like button, y'all. Click on that subscribing button, man. Subscribe bell. You know what I'm talking about? Click on that subscribing bell. Share on your social engineering, man. Get the notifications out there. Man, Andrea, man, I gotta, I'm about to go get my suits, man. We about to do this thing real professional, man. I'm about to get my whole studio set up, about to get the lights put up in here and all of that, man. Okay, that's what's up. Mr. O with the info. It's all good, bro, man. It's all good. We working men, we get tired, man. I slept literally all weekend, man. All night Friday night after I did the show, or I didn't do the show Friday because my man Glitch had to take care of his kids, as well as Saturday. That's why I did the little impromptu talking about Quando Rondo last night. But next Saturday, we going in with my brother Glitch. He guaranteed me next weekend he's got completely open. So next weekend, we having the live listening party for my brother Glitch at 8 o'clock. This is when we're going to have it. And I apologize Friday night for anybody who was waiting. You know what I'm saying? I apologize about that. I know Blake Monger said he was waiting for about an hour or some change. I apologize about that. That will never happen again, at least without me putting something out to let y'all know that either tonight's show's been canceled or I'm going to do something else in place. And I apologize about that, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But, man, we're working hard over here, man. It's all good. You can always go watch the recap. And Red said he going in later on the night, too. I think a little bit after I get done. So, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can always stay tuned for that. You know what I mean? Yeah, we all here, man. We in the building, man. Hit that like button, y'all. You know what I'm talking about? Hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? All that. Hit the like button, smash the like button, do a backflip on the like button. And tomorrow tonight we getting into it. Somebody call my phone, dad up here on the phone in a few seconds. And we're gonna get him on the jack and we're gonna get straight to it. But last night's show, man, was an impromptu show. You know what I'm saying? We was talking about the situation with Quando Rondo and him getting ambushed basically in LA, and one of his homeboys unfortunately losing their lives. What I will say is this, man. It's very unfortunate. You know what I mean? Like I say, man, these rap dudes is being used to push and promote, promulgate, advertise, I dare say even market, you know what I'm saying, this homegrown terrorism. And, they're being used, like I've been telling y'all. Hey, my one thing is this. How all them shots get fired at that vehicle, which were intended for Quando Rondo, but not one of them hit him. Not a graze, not a shard of glass in the eye or the cheek or something like that. You know what I'm saying? He comes out completely unscathed, and his mans and him get lit up, lose his life. It's just strange to me, It's real strange. But like I always tell y'all, man, the rap game is definitely using these young boys to promote, you know what I'm saying, these this violence that we see. And not only that, they're using them to push agendas, you know, specifically the Luciferian and the satanic agenda specifically. And they're also using them to create the environment. What's up, Vernon 85? What's good? You know what I'm saying? They're also using these rap artists to create the very environment so they can impose HR 1955 protocols on all of us. On all of us. So y'all gotta tap in and walk with us, man. You know what I'm saying? Last Wednesday, or this Wednesday that just passed, I had my daughter on, and we were discussing, you know, the situation with the lockdown situation, how that affected her. What are some of her perspectives on how the school's being operated? And, you know, we just had a general conversation, just chopping it up with my baby girl about how she views a couple things. And I always think it's good, you know, so I always think it's a good thing to get the perspective of the youth from the youth, right? And let them talk about what they think and how they feel towards the things that we may seemingly think don't affect them, but yet indeed they do. And my pops saw that, and he wanted to get to the spiritual roots of education concerning our children, who is to teach them and what do they teach them, all of that stuff. So we're going to get into it tonight. You know, I'm about to call Pops up here on the jack here in a second. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to get him on the phone, and we're going to have this conversation because, unfortunately, he's not able to tap in due to his phone situation on the camera video-wise, but he's definitely going to be able to tap in. The former pretty boy, what's good, boy? Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? We tapping in tonight. You did. Let me bring this up on YouTube real quick. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man. Yeah, man. Everybody in the building, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody coming out. You know what I mean? Appreciate everybody being in the building. How y'all like that logo right there, man? That remind y'all anything on my 80s babies? You hear me? Y'all see that? Y'all see that logo up there in the top right corner? You know what I'm talking about? Y'all see that logo right there, man? You know what I'm saying? That's the official A-Real Talk Media logo. You know what I'm saying? ART stands for A-Real Talk, Art Media. You hear me? It's kind of like a play on words a little bit, but you know what I mean? That's the logo right there. Certified, trademarked, all of that. Yeah, you already know. You already know, Mr. O. You already know. I'm a true child of the 80s, man. You hear me? Yeah, you already know, Deformed Pretty Boy, we going in tonight. The spiritual roots of education concerning our children. We gonna get right into it. I'm about to bring Pop Squally up here in the next minute. You know, I gotta do my little monologue, you know what I'm talking about, where I go in and stuff. You know what I mean? You already know, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's the logo right there, y'all. You know a brother's official on the StreamYard. You know what I'm saying? He paying his monthly joint because he ain't just got that StreamYard logo up there. He got his actual official logo up in the building. I suggest if you run a business, whatever your business is, you get you a logo, you get it trademarked and copyrighted, and you put it on your StreamYard thing instead of having a StreamYard up there, because this is a business, like we say. Like my shout out to my brother Red Supreme TV1. This is a business. We're going to treat it as such. So with that being said, hit that like button. Share on your social engineering. You know. Yeah, you already know, Blade Monger, man. True critical thinker and a true how can I say it? A true study of the English language, especially. You know, I ain't gonna say I'm a master, because there's only one master, but I'm well versed in the English language. You hear me? Exactly. So tonight's show, y'all, we're gonna get into it. You know what I'm saying? Spiritual roots and education concerning our children. Further expounding on the conversation that I had with my daughter on Wednesday this past, which was a beautiful conversation. I suggest that y'all go to the video list, and I suggest y'all go check that out. Shouts out to my baby girl, Jen. I love you, pretty girl. And Sam, I'm so proud of my daughter. She's such an articulate and beautiful young lady, and I respect her for having the courage to speak on such sensitive things with people with whom she doesn't even know. Yeah, what you talk about, Andrew? You said yes, it does. I like it. What you talking about? Yeah, man. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. I rock with y'all, man. I love y'all, man. You hear me? I respect that y'all take time out of y'all's lives, y'all's busy schedule, y'all's days, y'all's weekend. This is Sunday before we get the week back started. Y'all could be preparing for work or getting your kids ready for school or whatever the situation is you do your Sunday demo for to get the week start, but y'all taking some time out of y'all's day to tap in with me and my pops, man. We appreciate that, man. We respect y'all for that. Cherish that. That's real talk, man. Super real talk. So how y'all been enjoying y'all weekend so far, man? Y'all tapped in with us last night and see that show? Y'all tapped in when we was talking about what happened with Quando Rondo? My brother Red expounded on it a little bit more today. I wonder if Red gonna talk about what I sent him. Because I could easily talk about it, right? I could easily talk about what I sent to Red, right? But it's only right that Red speak on it because he's from the turf, and only he can speak on that in a way, you know what I'm saying? Oh, okay, that's what you was talking about, Andrew. Yeah, you know, we children of the 80s, man. So I'm a 80s pop and 90s pop culture savant. You hear me? When it comes to movies, snacks, when it comes to food, music, commercials, I'm a pop culture savant. I was one of them little hood niggas that actually went to the crib and watched MTV and all that shit. That's how I know so much about music, because I was glued to the TV, and the 80s was the absolute best decade of music ever. Right? Yeah, I appreciate y'all liking that logo, man. Get you a logo, get it trademarked, get it copyrighted, so can't nobody steal your shit. We about to have the merch coming, the t-shirts, the hoodies, the snapbacks, coffee mugs, all that stuff, man. I'm about to have all that stuff coming for y'all, man. We're going to have the t-shirts, the hoodies, you know, with my intellectual property on them. You understand what I'm saying? We're going to have all type of sayings on the tees. We're going to have tees for the ladies and all that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have that merch coming real soon, y'all. You know, so I appreciate everybody supporting A Real Talk Podcast and Art Media LLC. I really do appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? So as far as the education with our children goes, y'all, you already know, Blade Monger, man. Blade Monger, you already know. Salute to everybody, man. It's all love over here. It's all family over here, man. We all fam. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, yeah, Andrew, you already know, man. And I'm not going to be super waxing y'all for them. There ain't going to be nothing outrageous. All the merch is going to be affordable. It's going to be nice quality. You feel me? You ain't going to be paying no money and get some old cheap shit. You're going to pay your money. You're going to get decent quality fabric with decent print that ain't going to wash off in the first wash in the washing machine. You hear me? I've been behind the scenes getting all this stuff together, and I'm going to have that merch for y'all. T-shirts, hoodies, snapbacks, scullies, do-rags, whatever. You know what I'm saying? All that shit. So I'm even have shells for y'all. What y'all know about that? What y'all know about the A Real Talk shells, cigarillos? Yeah, so we going in, man. You know, outside of my job and doing this, man, I got a lot of other stuff going on. You funny as hell, man. Hey, fine. Oh, that's funny, man. Vernon 85, man. I appreciate that, bro. You know, of course, we're gonna hit y'all with them spiritual roots tees. I'm already in the works of making the design for that. You know what I'm saying? Had them tees for y'all. I know y'all like this. I see y'all like this Spiritual Roots on Sunday. So I'm gonna get some t-shirts for y'all, man. Spiritual Roots tees. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna have them in different flavors for y'all. You know what I'm talking about? We're gonna have them tees popping, man. I'm getting everything going on behind the scenes. You did. Yeah, but last night, man, that show I did on Quando Rondo, I always gotta come for that perspective. Because like I tell y'all all the time with all this stuff we seen in the media, especially concerning these rappers, dudes, man. It's being done intentionally, it's being done purposefully, it's being done wittingly, and it's being done with a purpose. And the purpose is to indoctrinate, especially the kids, with these ideologies that are being pushed through the music, which is mainly Luciferianism, Satanism, and the smart grid. Right? Which basically at the end of the day, all three are the same thing, right? They're all rooted in the same thing. And oddly enough, this is directly connected to the topic of tonight's show, which is the spiritual roots of the education, right? Specifically and especially concerning our children. Notice that these guys, now Quando Rondo only like 23, 24 years young. The young boy who got killed was only like 21, 22, something like that. These guys are all less than 30, and they're being used by the music industry to push these agendas while also capitalizing off of their trauma, which trickles over to us, the people who buy the music, listen to the music, share the music via, YouTube and all of that, because the guys have millions of views watching this programming basically through the drill music, which is now global. I was listening to some London drill. Y'all hip to London drill? I forget the name of the artist I was listening to. What was the young boy's name out of London, man? I think he said he was from Brixton or something like that. Yeah. Y'all hit the London drill? Anybody hit to that? I hit the London drill. London View remix featuring Minnie, Sava, Marin Rabbit. Yeah. The drill music is everywhere. And the music, y'all, the music is being manipulated and infiltrated as well. And through the education system, sadly, is where our children get this programming. And I want y'all to know this too, though. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't have to take my word for this. Y'all can go do y'all's research and due diligence on this. The education system, especially over here in America, right, was developed by people who were assets of no other than the Rothschild family. Y'all look into who started the Education Association of America. Right? Y'all know the Rockefellers were mainly the ones who funded and created the, education, basically, system in America. And if y'all know anything about them Rockefellers, right, y'all know who they big bosses was at the end of the day. Yeah, I know me either, Blade Monger. It's real hard to listen to this music nowadays, especially this genre of drill music. It's very hard to listen to. I find myself still listening to music from when I was a kid. Now, it's a couple new artists that I actually like that I can bear and stand and listen to because they actually are talking about something. But all this other stuff, I can't get into it, man. I've tried to be reasonable, to be fair, balanced, and listen to these young boys' music, and it all sounds the same, and it all sounds horrible. I get the feeling that my brain is being numbed even like ever more that I listen to it. The more I listen to it, the more I feel like I'm losing brain cells. Right? See, when we and I hate to say this because we sound old when we start talking about this, but it's true. when we were children, when I was a kid, me too, Black Monger, and it's definitely not real music, Andrea. It's definitely not. We had a variety of music to listen to when we were a child. Nobody really sounded the same. Matter of fact, if you came out sounding like somebody else, we would say that you was biting, and you would get clowned for that. It was something that was shunned upon. It was very much promoted to be different in your own unique style. Nowadays, everybody sounds the same, to the point where they use the same words, the same verbiage, the same colloquialism, the same everything. Right? Say I'm lying. Say I'm lying, y'all. Any radio station, major radio station in any major city, when y'all listen to y'all's radio station in y'all city, the major ones, right? They all play the same 10 to 14 songs continuously on the radio, day in and day out. The same popular at the time, major 10 to 14 songs. Repetitively. Grinding and stuff, grinding and drill, then this stuff in our head, sonically forcing us to like it. Think about what I just said, y'all. Sonically forcing us to like it. This isn't even really good music for real, for real. And you think about it. And you think about the tone, you think about the amplitude and the gigahertz of the frequency of the bass. It's a lot of factors that go into this music, man, that has a strong effect on us, especially the kids, and we don't realize it. I want y'all to do some research to look how sonic waves affect water. Right? Look at how sound waves affect water. And when you think about the rate and as far as gigahertz go, that these beats are being made at, right? The frequency, right? You see that this is the same frequencies that sync and link with the input output carrier signal that we all give off. And remember what I told y'all about children when they're younger, they'll have more moisture in their body, which means that they're more electrically conducive because water is a highly electric conductive element. Right? Water is highly conductive. So think about that when you think about these frequencies through this music, specifically drill music, and the effect it's having on your young child with their moist body. Understand when I say children have more moisture in their body when they're younger than when we do when we're adults. Yes, exactly, Blame Martyr. Exactly, Blame Martyr. I want y'all to go do some research into the effect of sound on water. Right? I don't remember the name of this author, y'all, who wrote this book. What's his name? Dr. Emoto. Yeah, Dr. Masaru Emoto. I'm about to bring him up on the screen for y'all. All right. Rest in the essence to Dr. Emoto. All right. He did extraordinary research, y'all. You hear me? This guy right here did extraordinary research on the effects of water. Right. When sound was introduced to it, and not just any type of sound, certain type of sound, specifically certain words, certain language, and the effect it had on the water. Y'all do some research into this dude right here, Masaru Emoto, Dr. Masaru Emoto. All right. He's known for writing a book. All right. I'm about to bring the book up here in a second. This guy right here was wrote a book called The Hidden Messages in Water. And he did years of study and research into the effect of words on water. Words are sound, right? And when he found that when he spoke kind words, words of love and fairness and everything right, the water would form into beautiful crystals, snowflakes and stuff like that. But when he spoke negative words into him, hate, anger, the water would disappear. He would freeze this, and he studied this. And I think y'all should look into this, man. It's very, very interesting. I'm about to bring the book up too. Y'all should go look into this book. This is another good read for y'all right here, man. Hidden Messages in Water by Dr. Masaru Emoto. You know what I'm saying? The book is dope right here, y'all. You hear me? Detroit 313, what's goody, bro? Go get this book, y'all. And listen here, I'm going to say this too. Make sure y'all drink y'all gallon a day. Even when I'm off on the weekend, I still drink my gallon. Right? Any book that I suggest that y'all go read, I strongly suggest y'all go get it. Right? Any book that I suggest that y'all read is a book that contributed to my plethora of knowledge. Right? And if that's anything that you admire or something that you hold value, information and knowledge, then I strongly suggest you go get this book. Right. Now, always remember this too. You can manipulate water with sound, but you cannot manipulate the sound of water. Yeah, I drink a gallon a day, y'all. Every single day. Y'all see me, I have my jug. And I drink it on camera just to promote drinking water because I'm a strong advocate for drinking water. That's basically all I drink for the most part. I occasionally drink alcohol. I may have a ginger beer, soda every now and again. I only drink juice when I'm drinking a mixed drink. All right. And that's about it. I drink coffee like very occasionally, like once in a while. I drink mostly water though. Gallon a day. I strongly suggest y'all do it. But remember what I said, y'all. Yes, go get the book, Andrea. You're gonna trust me. You're gonna be glad you got this one. You hear me? Dr. Emoto was unfortunately passed away a few years back, mysteriously, under mysterious means. He was a guy who was a vegetarian. He ate very good. He promoted health and well living. He did the study on the effect of sound on water. You know what I mean? He's a very healthy guy according to my research of him. And he mysteriously came down with some type of heart condition and he passed away because his research was very controversial. And he was bringing this research that he was doing to, music companies. He was bringing this stuff to these record labels. He was bringing this research to the FDA. He was bringing this research to the video gaming industry, companies like Nintendo and Sega. Right? Water has memory. Right? If y'all remember in the movie Aeon Flux, remember they made the movie version, the live action version of Aeon Flux. It has Charlize Theron play Aeon Flux. Remember that? Right? And in the one scene when she went up in the blimp, they had stored all the files from their past lives when they were genetically cloning them. right? But they stored their memories and they stored them in water. Think about Superman in you know what I'm saying, in his cave. You feel me? In his cave, it was a crystal cave where the big computer was, where he can communicate with people from Krypton and all that stuff. Right? It was made out of crystals, which is water. Right? Water holds memory. Right? Remember that. And you can manipulate water with sound, but you cannot manipulate the sound of water. So this is a good book I suggest y'all go get. So I'm about to call Pops up, y'all. Bring Pops in on the phone so we can get to it. All right, everybody, man. We got Pop Squally on the phone right now, man. You know what I mean? I'm going to go ahead and let him just say his hello to everybody. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get this thing going. Go ahead, Pops.
First of all, I'd like to give a shout out to all my YouTube family out there. Hello, everybody. How we doing this fine, blessed Sunday? A little wet and damp outside, but that's all right. God still controls the elements. It's all good. It's all good.
Yes, sir.
Well, like I was saying, my son, I was listening to my granddaughter last week, and I'm so proud of her as I am my son. And the topic that they were talking about was the educational system of young people today. And it just inspired me to get deeper into that, because it has changed so drastically over the generations and over the years and the decades, of our educational system. And of course, like I always say, anything that is in the natural realm and comes from the natural realm, it first originates from the spiritual realm. So education also comes from up out of the spiritual realm as well. And God was the first one that laid that foundation about education. He called it teaching. Today, man calls it education. Same thing. You have your natural aspect of it, then you have your spiritual aspect of it. I like to lay the groundwork for the spiritual aspect of it, because just like it is about with violence against man today, also that has its foundation to why our young people are going through and suffering the things that they go through today in the world that we live in today. So you always go back to your roots, and you always go back to the beginning, and you always go back to your basics of everything, because that's where everything always starts from the beginning and from the roots and from the basics.
Right.
I did a lot of studying and research. Whenever me and my son choose a topic to talk about, I already know he's going to do his homework. Right. So that makes me have to do my homework as well.
That's a fact.
I learned from that because it's teaching me something. He's teaching me his business. He's teaching me about the media, because we both, are called and chosen to speak to the multitudes, the many, all those who have ears to hear. So this is where we have to do our homework, because people are going to question us. They're going to doubt us. They're going to not believe us. Some going to be even more curious about wanting to know more. Then there are those that are hungry. Them the ones we want.
Right.
I was hungry, like he was hungry. Because when you're hungry, not only will you want to eat, but when you find the right food and nourishments to eat from, you will eat without doubt, without question, without negativity. So, I just like to thank my YouTube family for always zooming in on me and my son. Whatever our podcasts are related to, they're going to be interesting subjects. They're going to be dealing with the real world we live in today. They're definitely going to deal with reality. And there's always going to be some spiritual significance behind it. Always. Because that's where everything always starts from.
Yes, sir.
So to continue on with that, I'm proud of my granddaughter. Like I said, you know, she's one of the many of young people that draws my interest to what's going on in their world today. So, you know, they are now millennium babies.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be very careful in how that they are being raised and taught and brought up. Because everything in this world that what we as adults think we go through and is affected by, it affects them 100% more. Because they're impressionable. They're young, you know. That's why I go back to the spiritual roots. And God set the foundation for what we call education in our world today. But during those past times, he related to as teaching, to teach, to instill, to learn, you know, to explain, to share, you know. Everything that what they need to know growing up in the world that they live in as well. The educational system of our children today, young people, it affects the ages now from 3 to 5, from 14 to 25.
Right.
Okay? Those are I consider young people.
Right.
Anytime you're 30 and over, then you're in your primes. You're still young, but you're a young adult. They are still young people,
Mm-hmm.
still impressionable, still learning, still hungry for knowledge. You know, they're just like a blank tape. Whatever you record on there, whatever they see, they record in their minds, in their lives, in their memories.
That's a fact.
Everything that they experience and what they go through, it stays with them forever. The second foundation of learning and teaching young people today are the parents. That's who God addressed even in the Old Testament days when he was speaking to his people about the young people and the families of his people. Okay? He was telling them how to teach, how to educate, how to instill, how to train, how to learn. Everything what he knew that they would learn. And the first foundation where he was teaching them was to teach them about the Lord thy God. It's a sad situation today that we live in that most young people do not know anything about God.
Right.
I'm not talking about trying to preach to them. I'm not talking about trying to teach them in the sense of like they're adults and bring too much heavy stuff on them where they can't understand or apprehend or comprehend. But God said you can teach them to know about him, okay?
Right.
Because it all bounces off of the parents, the adults, you know.
Exactly.
We are responsible for our young people, you know. Whether we think that after they reach a certain age of 18, may be so with man's law. But God hold you accountable for that for all the rest of your life and their life. And the reason why is because if you would start from the very beginning in training them and teaching them the foundations of knowing who God is, then they won't stray off so far later on as they grow up to where that you feel like that after they're 18 that you no longer have to be responsible for them. Your child and your children are your children forever. Well, there's no such thing as that there's a certain point cut off in their life where you no longer have anything to do with it. That's a bunch of crap. You know, it's until they're not here anymore or you're not here anymore.
Right.
You know? I mean, they come from out of you, you know. I mean, you don't discard yourself after so many years. How can you discard your offspring? Unheard of. But moving right along, God was showing and teaching his people, if you train, and all these, I'm gonna give you scriptures. Always give you scriptures. In Proverbs 22:6, and this is God speaking to his people in the Old Testament times, or in his day, or in their day. It says, train up a child in the way that they should be taught, that when they get old, what all all that you have taught them will not depart from them. Proverbs 22:6. I'll elaborate on that just a second.
Right.
About what that's referring to.
Talk to him.
If you are not necessarily saying a godly person, and I say that with very caution in the day we live in now, because I don't want people to think that I'm stuffing religion down their throat.
Right.
But it's still scripture. This is what God says. So if you have anything that you want to deal with anybody about, then I suggest you take it to God.
Yeah. We just laying foundation, man. That's all, man.
I'm just laying the foundation.
Yeah.
So this is what he says, and this is what he meant by that. If you have your belief in God and you believe in God, if you believe in his principles and his laws, then you would instill that in your child as he grows up, because it's right, first of all, and it's true, and it's the way that it's supposed to be. So when you put the proper values and morals and the importance of learning and knowing things of the world and of people, even back then in their society. But the main thing is to let them know about who God is and put the right, proper things in them. And no matter what they might go through as they grow up, no matter how far or near they might stray away, they'll never forget those principles and those morals and those values that you instilled in them at a very young, early age. And notice that he says, as they are young, he says, train up. Train them up means like start off at a very early age. Well, how early is the age? As early as that they can understand and know what you're talking about and know what you're saying. You know, different children, they pick up and they learn quicker than others. You know? But you just tell them, train them. Train them is something that you do on a consistent basis until they eventually get it and pick it up and know it and learn it.
Right. And practice it in their actual life as well.
Exactly. But also the parent have to understand you have to be the prime example now.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell that saying that you don't do as I do, you do as I say. That don't work.
Uh-huh.
So I hope as a parent you never use that with your young people, with your children. You know, never tell them you don't do as I say, you know, you don't do as I do, but you do as I say, because they watching what you do as well as they hearing what you're saying. And they know enough to difference that the two is not matching up, you know. How you gonna tell me to do one thing and not say something, or say something and not do something, but you're doing totally the opposite? You confuse them, you know. So parents have to be the example. Son, you want to interject something?
Nah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh. So you have to be very careful how you raise your children today, you know.
Right.
You have to be that prime example, you know. I remember when I was growing up, my parents, you know, I was blessed to be raised and given the parents that God chose to give me, to bring me into this world, you know. Not many can say that. I'm old school. So, of course, a lot of things was different back when I was growing up as opposed to the way things are now.
Yeah.
You know, even when my son was growing up, you know.
Way different. It's way different.
Yeah. Even more so now, even from when he was raised up and what was going on with him, as opposed to now, his daughter and my granddaughter, the day now that the things that they are going through and being exposed to is even much, much greater. You know, so you can see the various different transformations and times, you know, as people are growing up and multiplying in the earth, that everything is changing at a very fast pace. Everything is changing, you know. And we have to be very careful the foundations that we lay for our young people today. With so much going on, you know, we didn't have to deal with a lot of things that young people deal with today, you know. So that's why it's very important for us to train them up when they're young, you know, because, you know, you can't let a child go without being trained up right properly. And then when they reach that certain age, then you decide that you not so much want to begin to start teaching them something right then, but because you're getting fed up with the way that they beginning to start turning out. Then you want to step in and try to raise and train them, and it don't work that way. That's why you have to start off at an early age. Moving along in the spiritual aspect of it, because there's a lot of scriptures in the Old Testament that it speaks about how parents supposed to raise their children, and even how God cared and loved about children and young people, not just adults, and what we call old people, but even the young, from infants on up to toddlers, to teens and adolescents, then young people. God cared about them all along the way of man multiplying in the earth and growing just like he did with adults, male and females. He had that same compassion, that same love, that same affection for our children, even more so for our children. Then when you move in Deuteronomy 29:29, it says, secret things belongs to God, but things that he revealed belongs also to us, the adults, and our children. Let me read that again. Deuteronomy 29:29. Secret things belongs to God, but things that he revealed belongs to us, the adults, and also our children. Well, Virgil singing, what are you talking about?
Right.
The same way that God teaches and shows us and reveals things to us about him, and not only him, but also of the world and the world we live in, and the society that we live in, along with the rest of humanity that lives in this world with us, that when he reveals and shows and teaches us on a family level, he also wants you to pass it on to your children.
Right.
So, certain things that we should keep secret from children, and then there's things that they have a right to know. And if a child asks the question, even if it's out of curiosity, because there's different ways that young people will ask you questions, There's different ways and reasons why they ask you questions. Not always just because they want to be nosy or being disrespectful. No, they're being curious. Some really want to know and understand. So you have to be on your guard and on your toes to know when your child come at you and want to know things of you, and you have to know how to feed and feel where they're coming at with that and where they're trying to go with it. So you'll know your part you have to play and what you're supposed to do.
Right.
How you react, how you respond, and the questions that you give them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't give them so much from what you think they ought to know.
Right.
You give them from what you think that they're ready to know, and hopefully you are ready to be able to present it to them in the right way that they're supposed to be able to receive it.
Right. Facts.
Not so much of your own personal thoughts and opinions, okay?
Right.
But that they need to know to set the right foundation.
Right.
For them to be able to mature and to grow on and develop and be wholesome and be healthy and be right, and be able to receive the things that they need to know of being the truth.
Right.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Deuteronomy, and it also speaks about that if you raise a child up the right way that he's supposed to, then Jesus, he jumps in. This is Old Testament, some of the verses that I'm giving you, to show you that God has always set that foundation, being interested in our young people as well as the adults as well.
Right.
Then when you move on to Luke 18:6 says, let the children come unto him. Now this is whenever Jesus would be out and about doing his ministry, he always draw children to him. Just everywhere he went, children just loved him. Because children, they are innocent.
Right.
They are the most innocent creatures on the earth, believe it or not. Because they're innocent. They're not trained, their minds not yet been defiled or polluted with all kind of junk
Right.
That's how we get older than what we're exposed to that they are.
Right.
And then God protects their minds. People, you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
God protects the minds of young people to a degree that he just don't allow for any and everything to just attack that child's mind and get into it, okay? Because the prince still of darkness of the air still flies. Like I said, Satan don't care who he devours. He's after young children and young people as well as adults and older people.
Right.
Believe that. He has no prejudice against mankind, period.
None at all. And let me interject real quick, Pops. Let me interject real quick now. Now think about what my Pops is saying and think about all the things and atrocities towards children. Think about with the human trafficking situation. Think about that. Think about all the children that come up missing, like I told y'all, on a yearly basis. I'm just talking about the reported. The reported numbers are staggering. So just think about the unreported numbers when we're talking about what? SRA. Y'all remember when I told y'all about SRA? You hear me? You know what I'm saying? And so when which stands for satanic ritualistic abuse. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? A lot of children go missing, y'all. And one of the you know what I'm saying, main things we see in our global society, if we look on that wide scale, we see that children are in the crosshairs. You cannot deny it. They're coming for our children. Like I tell you, I have make no gripes about saying that. I say it with pride and I say it with fervor because it's true. They're coming for our kids in every way possible. They're trying to turn little boys into girls, little girls into boys. Baphomet agenda. They trying to goddamn what else they trying to do, huh? They out here sexualizing our kids at a young age, passing legislation to where the consent age could be lowered to as low as 6. Right? I don't understand why, you know, and the total exploitation of our children in all ways possible. And they're coming for them. And it's only right that we speak out about it. And the education system is a key factor in bringing this about. So it's only right that we have this conversation. I just want to speak on that, Dad. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that Jesus was putting emphasis on when he was telling them about his disciples when they were children was flocking to him, and they were saying, you know, trying to hush him away and tell him, you know, that the Messiah, he's busy, you know, like he wouldn't have time for children. And Jesus, he observed that, and he rebuked his disciples. And brought a child to him and set the child on his knee and told them, suffer little children, come unto me and forbid them not, for such as theirs is the kingdom of heaven. He actually scorned his disciples, said, in other words, and then there's other scriptures that he said, unless you become as like one of these little ones, in no such way shall ye, being an adult,
right,
shall enter to the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
What is he saying? First of all, because of the innocence of a child, the purity of a child, he had not been disdained, defamed, or he had not been, you know,
defiled.
Things of what we have been as being adults been subjected to, because he see the innocence of them.
Right.
And he was putting emphasis to the disciples that, you know, children are just as much as important in God's kingdom as adults. What makes adult people think that they're more important than children? I don't understand that.
That's crazy.
You know, they have their place like we have our place.
Right.
You know,
talk to them.
But we as parents are held accountable.
Right.
For everything that what we don't do, not so much what we do,
right,
but what we don't do. And preparing our young people for this world that we live in today.
Right.
You know? And we should understand that we all sometimes want to try to put the blame everywhere else and on everybody else. But no matter how much you try to do that, it starts at home and it starts back with the parents.
Right.
You know. And one thing I like to say, and if you agree with what I'm saying, say amen. If it hurts you what I'm saying, then just say ouch. Okay? I'm an adult too. And I can get my toes stepped on quite a bit of times, you know. So I say to say that, and I speak about fathers, you know, the men. I speak of us men. We have to start stepping back up the totem pole and start doing what we supposed to be doing as men, especially fathers. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what your statuses are. I don't care what country you from, your race, your creed, your nationality, your origin.
Right.
A father is a father. A man is a man, no matter where he's at on this planet.
Flat out.
So that's who I'm talking to. Now, if you don't fit that description, then don't worry about it. But if you do, all I ask you is at least heed and get hearing to what I'm saying. We are responsible not only for our children, but we are responsible for basically everything as being the man, as being a man. Because everything was given to us anyway from the very beginning. Like I said, I can always go back to the garden. And that's what God did with Adam. He gave him dominion and rule over every single thing on the earth, in the air, on the ground. That still stands today. Fathers, young men, old men, whatever age group that you're in, I'm still speaking to you. If you are a man, born a man, claim to be a man, and I'm not stepping on your toes, but I'm just saying you know who you are and you know what you are. I know I am a man. I'm a godly man. I am a 100% man. I'm only funny when I laugh.
You did.
You know, I'm only funny when I laugh. So I just say that fathers, we have to start stepping up to the plate and being a prime example for our young people, for our sons, even for our daughters, but even more so for our sons, because they're like a duplication of us. You know, they look up to us. They respect us. We have to be there for them until they get old enough to be there for themselves, okay? And regardless whether you believe it or not, we are held accountable for how we raise our children today. You know, parents can have the attitude, well, I don't care, I can't do anything with him, but then you have to think back that if you would have laid the right foundation for him in the beginning, he wouldn't be so out of control, or they wouldn't be out of control as much as they are now.
Right.
So you have to take the blame somewhere along the line. You're accountable. Whether you think you're not at all, you know, well, you did the best you could, well, evidently you couldn't have. Because the Bible don't go back on his word. Jesus said that God said if you train them up in the way that they should be, and even though if they do go astray, that they will come back to themselves, you know, and remember everything that was instilled in them when they were young.
Right.
Well, some of them never get a chance to make it to come back. So why is that? That's sad. And it hurts me that we losing our young people left and right today.
Right.
It's senseless. It don't make any sense. And a lot of it would be because of if we would have did what we supposed to do our jobs as when they was raised up. And some things can't be controlled, and then some things it's not necessarily one's fault. But still, when one has something to do with it and still don't do their part, that whatever that they can do and not do it, then they held accountable still nonetheless.
Right. Right. And I just want to speak on this real quick, Pops, as you go in this road now. It was a time when prayers was allowed in school, right?
Exactly. Right.
And when you look at the statistics, right, you know, go do your due diligence on that. What you're going to find is that the students or children tended to be more in line and more disciplined when they were made to say prayer at the beginning of class, and these values were instilled, you know, into the school system. But it was a case, right, in the Supreme Court. All right, I'm about to bring it up on the screen written now. It was a a case, Engel versus Vitali, in 1962, right? Stephen Engel and several other parents challenged the officially sponsored prayer as a violation of the First Amendment. Engel, a Jewish man, believed that the state should not impose a one-size-fits-all prayer upon children of many different faiths or no faith. The plaintiffs lost before the Supreme Court of New York in 1959, the Appellate Division of the Supreme Court of New York in 1960, and the Court of Appeals of New York in 1961, none of which viewed the prayer practice as the establishment of an official religion. Engel and others appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, which ruled in favor of the parents in a 6-1 vote. And that's what happened and why they took it out of schools, right? But even up until that point, right, the prayers that they was allowing in schools, because, you know, this was at a point in time where different schools were ran by different, you know, religions. They had their own schools and stuff, and they probably were saying their own respective religion prayers and under their tenets and stuff. But when the public school system came in, a lot of mixturous different kids was going to the same school, so they made basically a prayer based off of Christianity, though, right? Which is why the Jewish guy even wanted to try the case, because at this point in time, Islam and other religions just weren't as big as Catholicism, Christianity, all the sects of it, and Judaism. That were the major three religions in those days. This is the late 50s, early 60s. So, you know, this is the foundation of this legally anyway, where this stems from in the school system anyway, because when you look at behavior, and they're there, the statistics are there, the schools were a lot more in control. There were a lot more control. There wasn't none of this stuff going on. Wasn't no school shootings going on. Think about this, y'all. When those school shootings going on, you have to the schools were like the safest place that the child could be outside of their home, right? Even during the time when it was segregation, you know what I mean? Y'all gotta think about this stuff and be able to connect and correlate this stuff. Go ahead, Dad.
Right. Son, I love you, man. Because like I said, you do your homework. And I like how that you have my back, I have your back, and we give each other confirmation. We don't get together and we don't discuss and plan these topics the way that it goes. You know, all we do is just put it out there, the foundation of it, and then it goes out on its own, you know. Right. I don't know what you're going to say until you say what you say and bring up what you bring up on your computer, you know. And that's how you know that God is a part of this, and God is in this, you know, because we don't rehearse nothing. Right. You know, that's called live, because it do be live, you know.
We all the way live, Jack.
Yeah, it's not just us that is a part of this, you know. If you believe in the Almighty, you know, believe me, He's in this with us, along with y'all, you know, because he encourages y'all to listen, and He gives y'all insight and answers to things, you know. It's not Him it's not us, me and my son, that so much draw y'all to these podcasts. It be the Almighty that draws y'all to these podcasts too, you know, because He knows what's in each and every one of your hearts and what you really wants to know, and He know you hunger for knowledge and for truth, you know. And God is moving in the earth today. He's moving in all of us. So I just wanted to say that, you know, that's why I'm so proud of my son, because, you know, he does his homework like I do my homework, you know, but it's all just being obedient to the Spirit of God, you know. As he was speaking about far as the educational system of man, I can remember back that when prayer was in school. See, just like I said, it's always based on our spiritual foundation of that thing. When you forget God, you do never open up that door for the enemy to attack you anymore. And that's with anything and everything that has to do with man. And this is what's happening. See, remember, you could say prayer in school, you know, they kept the Pledge of Allegiance in there, you know, to that flag. That flag is more important to honor and to have respect for it than it is the Almighty.
Right.
That's true. That something's very wrong with our educational system today in the world. And this is not just in the United States. This is being affected all over the world.
It's global, baby.
The system of man all over the earth.
Global, baby.
The U.S. but it's effective all over the world. Wherever the educational system of our young people is at, this has affected it. I did my homework between last night and earlier today. They bring these facts and information to you all, which is what I'm getting around to right now. Also, how the social media has reshaped and have a profound effect on our educational system today as well. And it doesn't matter who you are in the media. It's those that use it for their benefit. It's those that misuses it, okay? To entrap and to put our children and young people even in more bondage of confusion of what's going on in the world around them.
Right.
You know, the devil, is the darkness and the prince of the air. Not just the air outside what we see, but also the air waves.
Now, hold on, Pops. Let me interject real quick because we got to get this right, man. Right?
Okay.
He's the prince of the power of the air, not the air itself. Let me come up for this, y'all. This is very important, right? He's the prince of the power of the air, not of the air itself. Big difference. And one of these days, I'll get into that and I'll break that down for y'all. Another topic for another day, but I just got to always emphasize that. Let me take this off the screen. Go ahead, Pops.
Okay. Well, whenever that I refer to about prince of the air, I'm speaking of the darkness. Okay, not just the air that we breathe, but of the air of darkness.
Right.
You know, because all them angels that fell to earth, that became demons and devils, all of them don't have bodies.
Right.
So that's the only place that they can maintain and be at is in the air.
Right.
That's why I speak, and that's why I use that saying that I use like that when I say that.
Right.
Because if you don't have a body, you cannot. They're now legally here, but that's why they're in the air. Okay, because they don't have vessels or bodies to be able to dwell in. You know, so they're constantly always in the air. That was the same reason why Michael had the battle with Satan and his angels in the air. See, when they was fighting, see, that was in the air. Okay, and then they were cast down.
Right.
So just wanted to just put understanding on that. So I understand what you're saying too, because he is not the prince of the air, like you said.
Yeah.
That's why I always put the darkness. You know, he is the prince of the darkness.
Right.
Of the, okay. But also too, see, he can intercept,
manipulate,
put out there all types of things. You know, people. Let me give you a footnote. Whenever your voice is audibly heard, or when you speak out loud, your voice travels not only in this realm, but also the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm of darkness, okay, and the spiritual realm of light, where God dwells. So your voice is heard in both realms, in the natural realm and in the physical realm. I don't know if you have ever was taught that or that was shared with you, but I'm sharing it with you for those that who want to believe it. God bless you. For those that who.
Dad, hold on real quick, Pop. Hey, Andrea, listen. Next level teaching. Let me come up real quick with y'all, man. It's only a few people, and I can literally name three. I can name 3 people who are doing next level teaching of the scriptures in the way that the Most High intended them to see. But the wise only going to be able to, the study, the learn, the not so much the anointed, but one like my dad say, those who go seek this stuff, you seek and you shall find. You feel me? That's a strong saying. You know what I mean? It's only a couple of people. I'm gonna give them some names for y'all real quick. Larry Gators. Although my dad feels some type of way about him, but we just gonna give it what it is. Larry Gators, shout out to Sinful to P, right? And the guy who's basically Larry Gators' big bro, Ivory Hopkins, I think that's his name. Apostle Ivory Hopkins. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's his name. Yeah. Them the only 3 dudes I've seen on YouTube really breaking the scriptures down like they supposed to be, so to speak, or intended to be by the Most High. Outside of that, it's me and my pops, man. Next level teaching, man. Go ahead, pops.
Okay, now the social media that I was referring to is just the public media, social media, you know, and how that they are having a profound effect on our educational system, from elementary schools to university graduates, you know, that it plays a very important role in their lives and their daily living.
Right.
You know, I mean, our media, and like I said, that has a lot of connection to do with that which is being spoken of and heard and taught into our world, you know, broadcast. That's why I was saying anytime anything that a person speaks audibly out loud, it is being heard. See, so don't ever think that you're saying anything in secrecy. The only time something is in secrecy is when you keep it within your thoughts of your own mind.
Right.
And only you and God then knows those thoughts. As long as it's inside your head, you and God only knows them thoughts, because he knows everything. He's omnipotent. He's omnipresent. He's everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Omniscient.
Thing from him, no way. There's nothing. Everything that's done in the darkness is like being done in the light to him. There's no difference between light and darkness in his sight.
Right.
Okay. Everything is exposed to him as it is.
Right. Now let me say this real quick, Pop. Let me say this real quick. Real quick. Omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. All powerful, all seeing, all knowing.
Right.
Everywhere, but yet nowhere.
Right.
Can see everything, but nothing at the same time. This is how I say, y'all, man. Y'all gotta not have a deep mind, a brilliant mind, a smart mind to get this stuff. You have to have an open mind. Next level teaching. Let's go, Pops.
And also, too, people, you have to realize that whenever you are hearing things spoken out loud, there's always subliminal messages behind everything that is heard.
Right.
You know? They speak about subliminal messages. They do it on music. They do it on recordings. You know?
Right.
They do it in advertising.
Right.
They do it in newspapers, you know, whatever you see and read, whatever you hear with your ears and see with your eyes, is sending subliminal messages to you both ways. Some you might be aware of it, and some you're not going to be aware of.
Right.
But none of it does what it's supposed to do.
Right.
It puts thoughts and ideals and sights and visions and things in your head that normally wouldn't be there. But because of the way that it comes to you, it just automatically just appears there and make itself manifested.
Right.
That's with the help of the things that are what is going on and how the spiritual realm operates. Okay? Because they go hand in hand, the spiritual realm and the natural realm. All right.
Yeah.
And everything that what goes on in this natural physical realm is all being motivated and orchestrated by that which is in the spiritual realm. People, you have to understand and believe this, because this is true. This is the way that it works. This is the way that it is.
Right.
Like some people, for an example, quickly, they'll pray for God to send them a blessing. Okay. Most of the time, it's always either a healing or either a financial. When it's a financial, they think for some reason or another that God somehow going to miraculously bring money down here, or their materialistic, you know, the need is going to be met, you know. Well, first of all, there's no money in heaven, okay? God don't work like that, you know. He doesn't work like the fairy godmother, you know. You don't snatch out something off of you and put it up on the pillow and then you get money back the next day. God don't work that way with giving you materialistic things.
Right.
There's nothing like that in God's spiritual kingdom of where he's at, okay? Everything that what we need of, we have to get it from what's already in and on this earth. Period. Now you have to understand how blessings comes to you and how it works.
Right.
You know? And it's always through other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way that we get our blessings. That's how God blesses us. We here on earth, you know, either the devil gonna bless you or either God bless you. Them the only two can bless you, but still has to come from the earth. Satan even told Jesus that when he took him on the pinnacle and showed him all the riches and the glory and everything of the world in a moment's time. And told him, I have been given the power to have the power to give all this and anything else that I want to whomever I choose to give it to.
Right.
If you want this, all you have to do is just bow down and worship me. That's all the devil wants from us is worship. That's what he wants. He never said he wants your soul. I just throw that in because of where I'm going at with this, because of what I'm saying.
Right.
But he never did want your soul. He always just wants your worship.
Right.
That's why I said the devil cannot have nobody's soul. The devil cannot possess your soul. The devil cannot take your soul.
So with that being said, that means you can't sell it. Right?
Exactly.
So Apostle, I think this is what we should do next time. We should get in here we should break that whole paradigm down right there though, man. Because I think a lot of people don't really understand that paradigm right there, how we've been indoctrinated with this ideology of having the ability to sell your soul.
Okay.
As if it's yours to sell.
Right.
And I think a lot of people don't have the full over, inner, outer understanding of that paradigm, either on a spiritual level or on a worldly level. So I think that would be something good to break down. But that's just an idea. Go ahead, Pops.
Okay. I'm moving right along with that. I was doing some research on it, where, as far as with our educational system, that lawmakers this year alone has proposed 137 bills.
Damn.
Restricting lessons and the training about racism and gender identity in our public educational system today.
Right.
Pops do his homework.
Right. Got to do your due diligence. Y'all see where I get it from.
Parents are not involved enough in our educational system and in our children. If parents lack higher levels of education themselves,
right,
public schools are choosing left and right. Should our children be overcrowded? Yes, they are. The schools are overcrowded. The classrooms are overcrowded. That's why our young people can't be taught right the way they're supposed to, because it's so overcrowded.
Right.
50% of our U.S. schools are exceedingly overcapacitated.
Right.
Compared to was when I was going back to school. We would have a classroom of no more than maybe 15 to 20 students, or 25, so not even 25. It wouldn't be no more than maybe 15 or 20 students per classroom. And teachers were abundantly. They had the time to spend with a student. You know, it was very seldom that a student got held back. And they didn't bounce us around from class to class to class to class when we were slow learning. Teachers had, and then teachers are not even teachers the way that they are back then, the way they are today.
Right.
You know, they focus basically on teaching our children. They never step outside of the classroom to bring themselves into the private homes of the students that they taught.
Right.
That's that today.
Right. Jill was speaking on that, Pops.
Huh?
Jill was speaking on that when she was on the show last Wednesday.
Sure was, yeah. That they tried to have, now a teacher is not just a teacher, they got to be psychologists, they got to be social workers, they got to be activity therapists, they got to be so many other different professionals right now other than just being the teacher.
Right.
And that's not their job, that's not what they're supposed to do. That's why I get back when I say that it all starts from the parents.
Yes.
It all starts from the home. And the family circle has been so chopped up and messed up so badly now over the last, 100 years, of mankind, especially with different races of families, you know, to where that it's all messed up. And that's one of the devil's main goals is to destroy and tear down the family circle.
Yes.
Fathers are not, children not being raised by both parents today like it was even in my day.
Right.
And it's sad to say that I have became victim, or not victim, but I was part of that system even with my children, you know. So I'm not even excluding myself, you know. But I know how it was when I was coming up. I grew up with both my parents, you know, from the time that I could remember until I was well in my teens. But that's not happening so today. So that has a lot to do with why our young people are going through a lot of things that they're going through because of the family circle is being ripped apart. And then like fathers, you know, and that's why you keep hearing me saying ouch, because I'm stepping on my own feet so many times right now talking about this subject. Right. And it took a whole lot for me to talk about this subject, but it was the inspiration of my granddaughter that what caused me to want to come out and to share this with y'all. Because of I see how that she is aware of it and how even to a degree that how it affects her, you know. Because when you have both parents within the home of a child, that way it becomes more wholesome, more productive, more positive. That child have both parents to feed from, you know. It's hard for a woman to take care of her children by herself. That's how messed up the society has caused for the family circle to become so torn apart now. And we as adults have to start waking up and seeing this, you know. Cannot take back what has already happened, but you definitely can have a part of causing a healing process to salvage and to savor whatever is left of it if you truly care about it, okay, before it totally be destroyed. And that's why I plead out to people in YouTube family, you know, for those that who are parents, whether you are together or single, do all that you can to heal and to restore back what has been torn down or try to be destroyed within your children, you know, because they are our future, you know. And that's why so many young people are being destroyed and being lost today. You know, and we as adults have to take accountability of that because we in some way or another do have some fault. And we are responsible to some way and to some degree why that they are the way that they are today. So it's not just totally their fault, you know.
Right.
Just totally blame them. Another thing is that we didn't have to deal with a lot of the peer pressure that our young people go through today. Not just in the world, but even in among their peers as just growing up among their own peers, you know. In my day, if I didn't want to do anything, I didn't have no pressure from my peer pressure of me doing what I didn't want to do, you know. They just looked at me if I didn't want to be a part of it, say, well, okay, and they go on. They didn't, you know, they didn't try to force me to do it or give me any negative feedback because I didn't want to do it. Well, I was the type of person, I hung with myself anyway, you know. I was always that type of person, you know, because I was already on my path of my career, my life, you know. I was in school, culinary school, cooking school, working jobs, you know. In my industry that I was going into, you know, which was the food industry. So that's where I was at from the time I was 14 years old until I was almost 25 years old.
Right.
So I never really did have somebody that I really, you know, hung with. You know, I was always a one single person that hung with myself. I didn't have no homeboys. I was just a homeboy, you know. I didn't have a group of guys that I ran with, you know, or socialized with. I really didn't have too much of a social circle of other people because I was too busy pursuing my own career, you know. But that was just for me, you know. But that with other people, you know, it's different, you know. And I'm saying that they shouldn't have to be subjected to the peer pressure that they now have to experience, that they go through now because they want to be different, because they don't want to be a part of. And because they know right from wrong, you know, and that's just not their cup of tea, you know. But they can't escape that now because of the way society as them formed and shaped for them to think and feel.
Right.
And that's why they go through so much, you know, with the things that they have to deal with that we didn't have to deal with, or I didn't have to deal with when I was coming up, and even some things that my son didn't have to deal with when he was growing up, you know. Now in the day, in the millennium generation of young people, you know, they seem like they got all three of everything, and then even more coming at them, you know.
Right.
Then we as adults and parents, whether together or single, raising our children or their children, that they have to understand that they don't have the things that they have to deal with that what we didn't have to deal with, you know. They have to deal with homosexuality, they have to deal with suicide. Now they got this mass shooting thing going on. Then they got so many other different things going on, you know, and with the educational system like it is, you know, they're trying to learn and better their lives and get their lives on the path that they want to get on. They have so much going against them. People, we have to wake up and realize the enemy is trying to take our young people out as much and as often as he can. You didn't hear about the thing that's going on back, like I said, so much even in my son's time, let alone even in my times, about the mass shootings that is going on. Now it's even getting so to where that it's making them even think confusedly about their gender, who they are, you know?
Right.
I mean, this is deep, you know? We can't look at it as just, this is just the way society is. No. This is a much greater, deeper thing going on. This is a spiritual battle, a spiritual war that is going on as well, you know. And if we as adults is not being where we supposed to be at and standing where we supposed to be standing, then we're going to continue to lose our young people.
Yes.
In every way, not just through the educational system, but just period. Any way the enemy can attack them and take them out, that's the door he's going to use. And we as parents are the only ones that can stop him and stop that. And how we do that is by how much we put ourselves involved with our children. You know, spend time with your child. There's nothing that an adult or a parent shouldn't be doing what they can have some time to take out and spend with their children. I don't care who you are. I don't care what position that you hold in life. How much money you have or how much money you don't have. Whatever your status is. And then again, it would bother me to know that they came from your loins. That's your offspring. That's a part of you that carries on your legacy, your genealogy, your ancestry, your tree, your roots. Because however much that you care about them and the way that they turn out is really X and showing inside how much you really care about yourself. I want to leave positive things behind for my children to know me and to be of me. I love my tree that I am and the fruits that are on my tree, which are my offsprings. And I care about them. Like I said, what has happened in the past, but you don't hold on to the past. You got to let it go so you can move forward to the present. And you got to be able to deal with the present and make the present better so you can move on forward to the future. So sometimes you have to leave behind what is behind you, focus on presently what is before you, and work on that which is before you and ahead of you. And include everything that is a part of you in that, which is your children.
Right.
Because we are the future of the world today. I get a little angry sometimes when I think of this because it's so important, you know. And we as the adults, sometimes the only thing that we get caught up to sometimes is our own selves, you know. And it shouldn't always be about that because we are here more than just for ourselves, you know, especially being a man and being the man, you know, because we are the head of everything in this world. Man have to start getting back to the position that he was in the beginning. We as being men, you know, step up to the plate. Don't try to be like any other man. Be the man that you was meant to be.
Right.
And that in a sense would have what you call a domino effect on other men, you know, because that encourage them, you know. And love, if you really love someone, and if you love your children, your offspring, there's nothing more important that will come before them other than God Almighty himself. You're supposed to even put your family before you put yourself, man. Did you know that? My brother that is out there in Tube Land, your family's supposed to come before you. You are their greatest sacrifice. You are their greatest sacrifice. And in the past, men of old times, they stood that ground. They honored that ground. They did without themselves and for themselves, for their family, because they put their family first. That's where it started out in the book of Genesis. That's where it started out in the Bible. That's where it started out in the Garden of Eden. And it was man first. It was all about man. Man has always had control and power and authority and dominion over everything in the earth, on the earth, and above the earth. And God has not changed that law yet. Still stands the same in his eyes. We don't want to fall short. And it takes us men in the world to begin to even start bringing things back full circle to where it's supposed to be right. It's not on the shoulders of nobody else but us men. If you're a man, stand up and be accountable for it.
It's a fact.
It speaks of, in Ephesians, it said, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but raise them up in the discipline and the instructions of the Lord. Sometimes we as parents have a tendency of negatively down-rating our children. Words are power, they are powerful, and they have power.
Keep telling them.
Speak to your children, and when you say negative things to your children about them, you say it out of anger or for whatever reason, whatever you tripping off of, whatever you're going through, you have a tendency to take it out on your child when they do something wrong or when they get out of step with you. And your words that you speak to them, you don't realize the damaging that you are doing to them.
Right.
Then you can't understand why your children don't progress in school.
Right.
Why they're not learning or picking up or doing what you feel they should be doing or exceeding or excelling in school. Well, it's because of what they go through and what is happening within the home.
Right, right.
And how you as a parent, mother or father or both, spend time with them, the things that you say to them. Oh, you know, if they come to you with a problem and helping them with their homework, now don't do their homework for them, but you have enough sense to help them. Show them what they should be doing or teach them how to do what they need to know to do.
Right.
You can always help them without actually doing it for them. But when you come out with words like, well, I don't understand that either, you know, you're supposed to know, you know, you're learning anything in school, right off the bat, you start shooting negative words at them. But they're coming to you for help. Right. Be patient with them. I'm sure if they did know that they wouldn't have to come to you no way.
Right. Now,
and who else you gonna come to?
Right. That's exactly right, and that segues perfect into what I just was about to show y'all. Right. Y'all hear me talk about epigenetics, right? Y'all hear me say that a lot. Epigenetically passed down childhood trauma, childhood/human trauma.
So go ahead, tell them, son.
Epigenetics, right? Now, when you break down the etymology of the word epigenetics, epi, which is a Latin Vulgate term meaning on top of. on top of genetics, meaning genes, DNA, right? So loosely, the study of epigenetics is the study of basically putting things on top of the genes. But in relation to us and what we're talking about right here, we're talking about epigenetically passed down trauma. Through epigenetics is the science of the DNA being able to hold memory created and being stored off of traumatic experiences. This is the study of epigenetics. Remember, I told y'all water holds memory, and children are moist when they are young. Their bodies are still developing. They're still moist. They hold more moisture than us, which means they're more affected. In any area in our life that we experience in our adulthood or as we're coming up is a result of the epigenetically passed down childhood trauma that we experienced as a child. So, and this is why it's important that we having this conversation, because we got to bridge the two together so we can see it from both ends. And this is why me and my pops come together to do this, so y'all can get both sides of it, so y'all get a well-rounded, you know what I'm saying, teaching, so we can show you how it all fits together. You know what I'm saying? Now, through epigenetics, right? Now, think about when I talked about not too long ago, when I talked about how they talking over here at Microsoft, how they then develop technology that can digitally store information through the DNA. They basically making the DNA into a downloadable transfer and storage of information device, which is what is naturally designed to do anyway. But they're talking about in connection with the cloud. Now, in relation to our children, right, they're being indoctrinated through the education system to be synced and linked to the smart grid. Remember when Jen said they still on their computers at school? Y'all got to pay attention to this stuff, man. Y'all have to be able to connect the dots on this stuff. And this is why me and my pops come together to connect the real world with the spiritual and bring together. So like I say, you have a well-rounded teaching and over and out understanding of what we talking about. And the epigenetics is being real big right now, but it's under the rug, if you know what I mean. It's like it's big as far as in the areas where it's big at, you know, but it's not like on a massive public thing, because they don't want people to really start looking into what epigenetics is really all about. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I suggest that y'all get that book, Hidden Messages in Water. Go ahead, Pops.
And son, you know, it's something how that I love the way we tag team off of each other. You know, because what I had said earlier, to have you bring this up, my next statement of what I was going to share fits right in with that to back you up with what you're saying.
Let's go.
And this is spiritual. Like I said, all mine is a spiritual foundation.
Right.
So if you want to dispute anything, don't dispute what I say. Dispute what the Word of God says. What's in the Bible.
Right.
What's in the Holy Book. Okay. Paul speaks about fathers raising their children, and the word I'm getting ready to share with y'all, provoke. A lot of people don't understand the real meaning of the word provoke.
Let's talk about it.
It's pissing somebody off, okay, or to make somebody to the point, you push them to the point where that they get angry and they do something that they normally wouldn't do. That's what we consider what provoke means when we use it in our English language.
Right.
But I'm gonna give you the original Greek meaning of what provoke means.
Talk to him.
The original Greek word of provoke means to irritate or to arouse feelings such as anger, hurt, shame, fear. Okay?
Right.
Just those alone. Now, not only are those just words that will provoke something in a person, but it also is manifested and is also worked through and by a spirit. Okay? Because all what we call our emotions, hurt, anger, those also can be manipulated by spiritual forces of darkness.
And let me stop you real quick, Dad. Let me stop you real quick. Now, remember when I talked to y'all about the Most High did not design us to have emotions, right? Emotions are a result of what, Dad? The fall. We're going to get into that. Go ahead, Dad. I just want to throw that in there.
You're right. The only emotions man had was love.
And let me stop you real quick again, Pops. And not in the aspect of what we think emotion. Love wasn't something that we had to obtain or get. It was what we were. It's what we are at our core essence.
Exactly.
Now go ahead.
That's what you call agape love and phileo love. Phileo love is love of the flesh, from the flesh, by the flesh, through the emotional realms of man, feeling, touching, seeing, hearing, smelling. Agape love is nothing but the pure love of God. That's all. That's all. God is love.
Right.
Okay. I just wanted to add that on.
Right.
Getting back to the original Greek word of what provoke means,
right.
It's when it means of irritation or arousing the feeling, you know, that this is what we do to our young people. This is what we do to our children. That's why it says, parents, do not provoke your children into these things, because God knew that they would open up doors for them to be denominally attacked, and the effect that it would have on them, you know. How many times that when this word is used, you know, when you do something to your child, you know, by calling them stupid or dumb, you know, or then you hurt them, you know what I'm saying? Their feelings are hurt. Then you make them become shame, you know. Then that's when the enemy has the right of way to attack them. Then you can understand why that they withdraw from normal things, why they don't interact with their peers, or why they withdraw and go off and be to themselves somewhere, or some of the things that they do, their activities or their habits, their ways, you know, changes up. Because it has a lot to do with, a lot of times, the things that just not only you as a parent might say to them, but anybody else, especially being peer pressure, you know, the things that they go through, you know, from just their own inner circle of people that they socialize with, you know, while they're in school, on the playground, or with other young people. The conversations that young people have among young people, you know, that if you're not strong, you know, and if you give in to any weakness as far as of the words, that's why I say people words are powerful and they're strong.
I keep telling y'all.
You know, I mean, anytime a young person can say things to another young person and it affects them so to the point that it makes them want to kill themselves, tell me that ain't power. So that don't have to just come out of the mouth of an adult or an older person. Words are powerful no matter whose mouth they come out of.
Right.
And young people have to deal with this among their own peer group. And that's why a lot of them do a lot of the things that they do.
All right.
That's why we have such violence in the earth today. Not only just men against men, but even young people against young people.
Right.
Well, it's time for us to wake up and see what is really going on in our world today. If you don't wake up spiritually, you're going to always be asleep. Period. Even though you think you might not be in this natural realm, you really still is. Because the devil got you in such a darkness that you can't see what is going on, no matter how much light you think that you are of or have of, to knowing what is going on. If you can't do anything about it, and especially if you can't change nothing about it, then you are in darkness and you have no power. And you don't care about anything that was going on in the world. You just go along with it. I can't do anything about it. Everybody can do something. Prayer brings down many, many strongholds. That's what tears down the devil's kingdom is prayer, power, love. If you have love, there's nothing that's not been so torn down to where that it cannot be saved and restored and rebuilt back up. It's only destroyed when you let it get to that point where it's no more.
Right.
As long as it's there, there's always a chance and hope for it to be able to be saved. But if you sit back on the guidelines and don't want to do anything about it because it's not in your backyard, then you don't care. What happened to the love thy neighbor as thy love thyself?
Wow.
See, it always goes back to the basic spiritual principle of God. Man caring about man, man loving man, humanity. That's what Christ came down here to teach and to restore back with man. Not just man with God, but also man with man. Jesus was that perfect example. That's why he came out with the thing about the Samaritan, the Good Samaritan. All the good deeds that people done in the Old Testament days and even in the New Testament days, he always never left out mankind among mankind.
Right.
The peer pressure that our young people are going through today is profound. It's ridiculous. And people, if we don't get a hold of this and try to start doing something about this and stopping it and slowing it down, it's going to do nothing but get worse. You think we got something on our hands now?
I keep telling
What
you.
about the next 5 years? What about the next 10 years? For those that who still be around? Where you think our young people going to be today? Because that's who the devil is going after. Let me drop you another footnote. I'm going to shoot you forward now to the book of Revelations. Speaks about that in these last times, the things that will be going on in the earth. It speaks about the great harlot. I don't know for those who might even know the story, but it speaks about the woman that fled into the wilderness. And she took the man-child with her and flew in the wilderness, was safe and hidden in the wilderness. Now, I will give you the revelation of that saying is the woman is referring to the church, the spiritual church, the spiritual body of Christ here on earth. This is back in Christ's time now, but yet still it refers to our present time too, and even to times yet to come.
Right.
Because like my son said, there's no time,
I said, go ahead.
Yeah, because there's no time in the spiritual realm. When God speaks what he speaks about, and the book of Revelation is just what the book of Revelation means. It's things that means unrevealing. Okay, it doesn't mean no specific set time that it had happened, but that's just that this time that it will happen. It's going to happen. It is happening. It does happen.
So
it has happened.
So let me stop you real quick. Then now think about that. Think about what my pops just said. Now let me interject right here. God didn't create time. God is timeless. Right? The Most High, he didn't create time. Time is a you know what I'm saying, construct of the program, so to speak, the matrix. You know what I mean? Now, you know what I'm saying? Now that we get into this aspect of it, since time is an illusion, especially how we perceive it and experience in this reality, right? God is not bound by time.
Right.
Which means we have the potential to be not bound by time. But due to this, and I'm tugging on my skin here, Pops, this is what bounds us to time. Another topic for another day, y'all. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead on, Pops.
Yeah, I'll shed a little light on time real quick, momentarily, just because those who have ears to hear, they'll catch it with me. Because like I said, I'm a very excellent teacher, and I know just what to say and how to say it, that you will get it and understand it. So I'll put time to you this way. Right. Time is only for the benefit of man. Okay, only for man. That's why it's a time for us. It has to do with us. Okay, nothing about God's creation. Nothing about what's going on in the spiritual realm, but only for man. That's why I said it is once for man to die, and it is once again for man to live. In the Ecclesiastics, it speaks about there's a season and time for everything. There's a time to cry. There's a time to lie. But my point is that everything that what it refers to that has to do with time, it also has to evolve around man and man himself. So that's why there's no time in the spiritual realm, but only we are of time. Just like what God told Adam and Eve in the garden. The day that you eat of that fruit from that tree is the day that thou shalt surely die. That's when time started for man. That's a go for you who have spiritual ears to hear that, okay?
Yeah. Let's talk to him, man. So, you know what I'm saying? Time being an illusory construct of the matrix, right? Which we are not bound by spiritually, only physically, physiologically, biologically, which are all results of the fall. Because what does my pops always say? Our original essence is spirit. Not flesh, spirit. Think about that, man. Energy, essence, spirit. You know what I mean? So what locks us into, right, the hive mind collective, so to speak, the flesh. And not only the flesh, but the syncing and linking of our flesh with the hive mind of LSD, which is manifesting as artificial or unintelligent artificial intelligence.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Talk to him, Pops.
Wrapping up on our topic about the educational system of man, the spiritual roots of it, another peer pressure that I wanted to bring out about what our young people are really going through with today is drugs, alcohol, smoking, bullying, sexual activities. And I done some research today and found out that, like my son, which I love him to death for this, because he gets on those that need to be getting on, because when you get to the root of what things are, then you begin to come up with a solution and solving the problem of it.
Right.
And we have so many young people now that are into this homosexuality spirit. That they're attacking our young people so hard, you know, and that's hitting the moral core of the fabrics of what we are as being human beings. That is much more disgusting with God than just about anything else that what could be discussing with God about. Is how that the devil is allowed for this spirit to just intervene and just permeate through our young people.
All right, now hold on real quick, Pops. Let me interject. Now, y'all remember the other day, I'm gonna come up for this too. Y'all remember the other day when I was speaking on this, when I was telling y'all how if I could put into terms that what we all can understand how the Most High feels about homosexuality. Remember when I was telling y'all how, you know what I'm saying, like this is what I compare how the Most High, if I could put it into human terms, right? The Most High, when you're driving up Frank Road, Pops.
Yeah.
You know, you driving up.
You're touching on about the workhouse.
Yeah.
And the waste factory.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
See what I'm saying? That's how you see what my pops just said? You see how my pops used the exact same two examples that I use? I didn't talk to him before this. Like I said, we don't practice or nothing. Driving up Frank Road is the wastewater treatment plant, and it is the workhouse, FCC 2, right? And it smells like straight shit.
Yeah.
And that's how the Most High feels, and when he thinks about homosexuality, because it is a representation of not only the Baphomet agenda, but I'm about to drop some jewels on y'all again. It's also what Lucifer is. Let me break this down. Lucifer when spelled backwards, is a Latin Vulgate term called reficle. Reficle. Literally spelled backwards. Lucifer spelled backwards is reficle, which is a Latin Vulgate term meaning excrement, feces. Right? And that's exactly what he is. And that's exactly how the Most High feels when he thinks about homosexuality. Another topic for another day, man. I just want to touch on that real quick. Go ahead, Pops.
Okay, and I did a studying today earlier on the same subject we're still talking about, because like I said, you know, it's something that we can't act like that is not happening and going on with our young people, because it is.
Right.
And this is the sexual activity that is being manifested in our young people today. And it's caused by the spirit of, like my son was saying about the LGBT. I did a little background on them today earlier. And I found out
the LGBTQ LMNOP barbecue committee agenda, man.
And all that, son. But their first movement was way back. The Gay Pride Month started in New York City back in 1970.
Mm-hmm.
That was their first movement.
Right.
That was the first time that the enemy had that door open to where that it manifested itself publicly and got into our social circle and our social media. Okay. To where that and look how many years that's been now, at least over 50, maybe 60 years.
Down there.
Look how widely it done spread and how much it had done grown since then. People, do you understand how much that not only just affected the social life and humanity, but even our government, to where that they legally made it a law and make it legal for the same-sex marriages can be legal. Now, come on, see how wicked and evil that is.
That's real, very disrespectful, man. Very disrespectful.
You think the stench, like my son was explaining about the waste place over off of Frank Road.
Right.
Let me give you even more of an understanding of how the stench is to God.
Mm-hmm.
Sodom and Gomorrah. Now let me tell you a little bit about Sodom and Gomorrah for those who don't know the big background about it.
Talk to him.
Sodom and Gomorrah, first of all, there are two cities by two different kings next to each other. Just like New York and New York, or New York and San Francisco. There's two parts of San Francisco. Okay, there's two parts. Do you notice how some cities have the same two names?
Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Right.
Dallas, Fort Worth.
Yeah, it's a meaning to all those cities that have double names, believe it or not. Because like I said, everything that what goes on in the natural realm is all manifested and orchestrated by that which is in the spiritual realm. And the spiritual realm of the era of darkness, they where Satan dwells and rules and operate in, okay?
Right.
He's over those cities. Don't you know that Satan has a military rank, just like our government has a military rank, and just like every other country has a military, Satan also has a military.
We're trying to talk to him about it, man. There's levels to this stuff, man.
That's why he is the prince and the power of the air that he's in. That's why he's called the dragon. See, his name that he has, like my son say, SLD, it represents very different levels that he operates in, and the kind of authority that was given to him that he had over the face of the earth.
Right.
That's why I said darkness was over the face of the deep. Not just in one locality of a place on earth, but over the whole entire planet. That he has kingdoms through men. Okay? Through men he has kingdoms set up on the earth. Through our government system, through our educational system. Okay? all our structural systems that what man runs and operates in this world that we live in is all orchestrated by the devil, the prince of darkness, the dragon, Lucifer. Call him what you want to call him. He has many names. Okay? Notice he always tries to compete with the Most High God. Look how many names God said. See, but let me tell you about God when he said who he was. So many people call him so many things. I'm going to take you back real quick. And then I'll bring you back up forward again. Remember on the mountain when Moses was called to the mountain, Mount Moriah, where God was dwelling at, when God chose Moses and called him to lead his people out of Egypt, and he called him up to the mountains, and when he came up there, saw the burning bush that never consumed itself, but was kept burning. That was God. That was the eternal fire of God. Okay? The eternal fire that that bush burning was not God. God just used that just to represent and manifest himself through, because he speaks with a loud, thunderous voice. And the way that Johnson Heston was talking out, that's the way that it was for us to understand and to hear what God was saying. But believe me, people, when he was actually talking to Moses for real, when it really happened, his voice didn't sound like that. God's voice do not sound like a man's voice, first of all. God's voice is a thunder. It speaks with great thunder and power. Now, you want to explain that a little bit more, Virgil, singer?
Yeah.
Take two cymbals and hit them as hard as you can together. And listen to the sound of how that cymbal would sound. Or when you hear a real loud thunder, God just says thunder. When you hear lightning, what we call lightning, okay? When you hear lightning, when you hear sounds like that, that's God you hear. Whether you believe it or not, don't believe what the meteorologists be saying about that's just thunderstorms and the way the clouds gather up together to this, all that, and all, like being affected with electricity. No. That's actually the voice of God that you hear. Remember, God don't have a voice as what we think, like the way we speak.
Right.
Okay, so we have a landing box. But if we couldn't talk and we make a sound, what would that sound be?
Right.
Well, my point was saying that when Moses was on top of Moriah and God was talking to him, and Moses said, well, when he told him he wanted to lead his people out of Egypt, and he said, well, who shall I send that send me? God said, I am that I am. Man took that and ran with it. That's why God is called so many things in the world today among men.
Right.
But what God was telling Moses was, I am that I am.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is that? How hard is that to understand, people? I am that I am. What he was telling Moses was, whatever I want to be,
talk to him.
That I want to be, when I am, when I that whatever that I am, that I am. If I'm a tree or want to be a tree, that I am. And a lot of times it's basically on what other people's perception of what they think or believe or feel or see what God is to them.
Right.
Okay. So he said in so many words, I can be whatever you want me to be. If you think that I'm a tree, I am, can be that tree. Okay, I am. But if you know the real true God, you'll know who he is, because he is a spirit. But God just saying, well, I'm to anything what anybody want me to be. I am whatever that I am, you know. That's his choosing to be whoever he wants to be, whatever he wants to be, whenever he wants to be.
Wherever he want to be.
And where at, because he's omnipotent, omnipresent, he everywhere. And like my son said, yeah, he's not nowhere, you know. He made everything, so, I mean, you can't hide from him, you know. He sees in the darkness as well as the light, you know. He sits up high and watches and looks down below. You think he ain't watching his creation? Has been from the very beginning. That's why I try to share with people. The more you learn about God and know really who God is, the more you will know and learn not only about your own self, but about everything else that is a part of this world and a part of you. But you can say all you want that you know that there's a God. But if you don't believe in God, it don't make no difference if you know that there's one or not. Because it's like he said, he that come to me must believe that I am who I am.
Right.
Giving you scriptures. If you don't believe he is God, it don't make no difference about you believing that there is a God. Because what difference does it make for me believe if I know there's a God, but I don't believe in a God? You know? I know that there's a tree and I know that there's grass and all like that, but if I don't believe in it, then it makes me no difference. And that's what God is saying to his man. To mankind, to his creation. You not only got to know that I am who I say that I am, but you also have to believe in I am who I say that I am. And that's why he told Moses up on Mount Moriah that if Moses said, well, who shall I say to send me? And God said, don't worry about all that. I am that I am, because God knows how he represents and manifests himself to many different people. People, let me tell you that. God just don't deal with us just in the way that we think he deals with us on a personal, individual level. God deals with every soul in his own way. That's why we can't never discuss or argue about somebody believing in God, you know, because they don't believe it in your way. That don't mean that they not believing in him. Right. It's a personal thing. It's between you and not your God, but you and God. Because there are many gods with the small g.
Talk to him. Talk to him. You took the words right out of my mouth. Go ahead and talk to him about it.
So there are many little gods, but there's only one, a capital G-O-D God. And that's the one you want to connect with, you know. So if you ever want to know God, then like he said, when you seek me with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might, and with all your heart, ye shall find me. Didn't say you might stumble up on me. Didn't say you might be able to see me. He said, no, when you take those steps to seek him, he said, you will find him. And people, there's a spiritual part of you more so than it is every other aspect and part of you. So I plead to all those out there in YouTube, my family, YouTube family, and in YouTube land, seek God, seek him. He wants you to seek him. Know who you are for real, not just that you, whatever your name was given you by birthrights and born into this natural realm, but you come from the spiritual realm first. Be curious about where you come from spiritually, just like where you come from in your natural physical realm that you live in. But the sexuality that I was talking about in the damage was caused by the LGBT barbecue, like my son always said.
Shout out to Sinful to P, man.
The gay movement is that they had that spirit. It has a profound effect on our young people today. Not knowing their gender. That's sad.
Sad.
You know?
Total disrespect.
Very sad, you know.
Total disrespect.
Even so now that even our adults are starting to you know, going along with that, you know, accepting it. You
right.
know? Saying, well, they can't help it the way, yes, they can help it the way they are. That's a spirit. Yeah. And you need to deal with it accordingly. You know? Because whether you believe it or not, you can accept it all you want, you young people that are out there, because everybody has to be accountable for God once they get to the age of accountability.
Right.
Make no difference because you young. It's not about that way, you too young. No, it's once you get to the age of accountability, that means that when you are responsible for what you do because you are accountable and you are aware of what you're doing. When you know right and wrong, and right from wrong, good from bad, then you're accountable for it. And you know, young people, they are accountable for themselves at such an early age as now as 5 and 6 and 7 years old. Certain things that they are accountable for. Whenever you tell them not to do something, and they do it, and when you scold them and when you correct them and chastise them about it, and then you see the reaction from them when you do, that's when they're accountable. Because they know. You catch your son getting a cookie out of a cookie jar. As soon as he thinks you see him, what he does, he takes the cookie and he hides it. That's accountability. Might sound frivolous that it's a cookie, but I'm telling you what foundation is being built from just that point on with that child.
Right.
He began to start knowing right from wrong. He began to start knowing good from bad.
Right.
Now that's when it start. When you start checking him on that, when he's that young, how much young you think God don't check him when God checks him for it? That he got to start answering to God, because you got to remember. Not only do a child have to answer to you as being the parent or the adult, they also have to answer to God too. And however that child has to deal with God, it has a lot to do with the foundation that you set and built for that child growing up, not raising him when he's small and coming up and instill in him the proper right things. Not only just of moral right, valuable things, but of godly things, of knowing God. Because that'll mess with his conscience more than anything else than you getting on him about doing something wrong, than him knowing that it's wrong in the sight and the eyes of God. Why we have to raise our children up in knowing about God and who he is and what he stands for. And those things and those principles will always follow that child. That's one thing I can say that I did instill and put into my children when they were growing up. The foundation from the very beginning. And no matter what else happened from that point on, from me straying away or they straying away, that they'll always remember that. And just like the prodigal son, they'll eventually one day come back to you. And they come back to them. Because God will never depart from them. Don't you know that every child that is born in this world, they are assigned an angel? That many of you didn't know that.
Talk to him.
Facts. This is biblical. This is scriptural. And I do this, like I said, in honor of my granddaughter. She's a young person, and I care about her like I care about all young people.
Right.
And they're waiting for the right parents, for the right adults, for the right foundation, for the right moral values to teach them, to show them the right way and how to do what is right. It doesn't make no difference maybe how they might stray off a little bit to the left. Quit condemning them. Quit judging them. And show that love that they need to help bring them back to where that they want to be. Not only where you want them to be or where God wants them to be, but where they want to be themselves. They're looking for guidance.
Right.
Can't get it from us if we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing.
That's a fact.
All right, son.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and end on that, man. Pops, man, you know, I'll hit you behind the scenes so we can discuss next week. And we'll holler at you, Pops, man. Love you, man.
Love you all out there, too, and you too, man. Like I said, just take to heart anything that you want to question about or have any doubt about with what I share with you guys. The best one that I can tell you to go to is go to God himself. And he'll tell you.
You already know.
Because he backs me up. That's who has my back. Is my God. That's how much faith I have in him. That's how much I believe him. Because I know he's the one that motivates me and guides me and leads me to do what I'm doing right now. And for all those that are out there that try to come against this, they can fight all they want, but they can't resist and fight against God.
You heard me?
Don't make no difference. It's going to be what it's supposed to be, you know. And those who have ears to hear, let them hear what the Spirit is saying.
Yeah, everybody's saying have a good evening and all that to you, Pops, man.
And my love go out to all you all. And hey, have a good evening and have a blessed week.
You already know. We same time, same situation next Sunday. We going in, man.
All right, son.
All right, I love you, Pops.
Have a blessed day.
All right.
Peace out.
All right. Shout out to my baby Anthea, man. She just blessed the collection plate with a 20 on the Cash App. Salute to her. Watch her from the clouds. You know what I'm talking about. And this is how we do it, man. Every Sunday, y'all know what it is, man. We're going to get straight to it. Told y'all, man, me and my pops, we're going in every Sunday. Spiritual Roots over here on A Real Talk Podcast. Tap in and walk with us. Tell your family, tell your friends. Next level teaching. Right? Next level teaching, man. I don't know too many people breaking it down like this, man. I named the ones that I'm not saying I'm not that arrogant. I'm just saying, we're going to break these things down, man, to the last compound, man, so you can have a full over, inner, outer, extra standing and be able to connect and correlate this stuff so you can better navigate. Like my brother, shout out to my brother Red Supreme TV1 so you can have the proper navigation. You hear me? And that's why we lay the foundation so you can have the proper navigation. You hear me? Shout out to Cupcake in the building, Uncle Diggity, Andrea, men guarding their own wallets. My man, Uncle Diggity in the building for show, man. You hear me? Everybody came through tonight. Lance Parker, I forgot to shoot you out earlier. My bad, brethren, but you already know it's all love, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody came through. Rock with us on a Sunday. Y'all know how we do it over here, man. Did you hear something that you ain't never heard before, man? Huh? You heard something you ain't never heard before tonight, man? You know what I'm talking about? Next level teaching, man. I done been to your churches, man. They ain't teaching this, man. And I'm a fool. You hear me? A stone cold fool. So is my pops, man. Love him to death. Right? You already know, man. I'm telling you, I'm about to do it up. I'm about to get the suits. We about to have the whole situation going on with the lights and all of that, man. Tomorrow night, we got my man, Mr. Pringles, the barber, coming on. You hear me? Definitely go subscribe to my brother Red situations right now. We got my brother, Mr. Pringles, the barber, coming on and get me crispy and handsome for the ladies, you know what I'm talking about, so y'all can have something real nice to look at, you understand what I'm saying? And then we're going to have my brother come on tomorrow, man. He's a very, very innovative guy. I ain't going to have nothing but people who's innovating, you know what I'm saying, their situation and, you know what I mean, being the nice, positive influence in the world, in the community as well. You know what I mean? I'm going to have my brother, Mr. Pringles, the barber, on tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Ain't we, Andrea? We all got damn it fools. And when I say God, I ain't saying God, I'm saying God. G-O-T. God damn it fools. All of us. You did. Right? You have to be able to admit that you's a goddamn fool. You hear me? As soon as you do that, the way you can light up the path to unbecoming a fool. How about that? So Tuesday, me and L going in, of course. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of such, tonight, Wednesday, we going in. We're going to go in on the LGBTQ LMNOP Barbecue Committee, man. We're going to break down how they're adding new letters to the phrase. And we're going to connect and correlate with that, with how it is further contributing to the continuous breaking up of the psyche of especially the children, right? In order to prepare them perceptually for the smart grid. So we got a chock full. Thursday night is still up in the air. I got a surprise because this is between two that I want to have come on the show on Thursday, y'all. So I'm just up in the air. But I got a surprise for y'all. I'm going to get her on. I'm going to see what's going on, and I'm going to let y'all know. You know what I'm saying? And I just got the text from my brother, Mr. Pringles, the barber. He said that tomorrow good. You dig? You know what I'm saying? So tomorrow, my brother, Mr. Pringles, the barber, is definitely going to be in the building. Y'all make sure y'all come out for that. My brother's doing awesome things, man, and it's only right that he come to April Talk to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? He has his own podcast as well. We're going to talk about that. And, you know, we got a chock full week coming up again. Next Saturday, the official live listening party of my brother Glitch the Guarantee. We're going to chop it up with Glitch. Give my brother his shine that he deserves, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all tap in and walk with us next Saturday evening. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a nice event. Bring your blunts, bring your drinks, whatever you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to tap in and do a commentary breakdown, all of that of the album. It's going to be a beautiful situation. But I apologize for Friday, y'all. I should have made a short saying that we weren't going to have a show or something. I apologize about that. Anybody was waiting. And, you know, it won't happen again. You know what I'm saying? I apologize about that. You know what I mean? So, you know, bids all good evening. Thanks everybody for coming out. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. Like I said, y'all could be anywhere in the world, but y'all chose to come and hang out with me and my pops, breaking down these spiritual roots. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we about to yeah, we definitely gonna get into that on Wednesday, Andrea, man, because you know, it's an important thing. They keep adding more letters to it, man. And you know what I mean? Yeah, definitely hit that like button, subscribe, share, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Definitely go subscribe to my brother Red Supreme TV1. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you know what I mean? Open up you a little window, you know what I'm saying? And go subscribe to my brethren, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Did you learn something new tonight, y'all? Did y'all hear something y'all ain't never hear before? Right? This is what we're going to do every Sunday night. You know what I'm saying? We're going to break down the spiritual roots. I already know, man. Every Sunday, this is where we're going to do it. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all tell y'all peoples, man. Tell them to shoot through. Tap in. You know what I'm saying? This is for y'all. I know people out here, you know what I'm saying, like this type of content, man. You know what I'm saying? Because people, you know, these churches is out here just, they have been totally consumed and totally assimilated into the hive mind collective of LSD. I have no gripes about saying that. I'm not being funny when I say that. This is why so many men, specifically black men, are leaving the church. Because it has been infiltrated by LSD himself. Right? Yeah, man. Y'all see it. That's why everybody's leaning towards witchcraft and everybody's leaning towards atheism and all of that. Yeah. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Shout out to my baby Anthea. We got Anthea in the building. You hear me, y'all? Thanks to everybody for coming out tonight, man. This is how we do it every Sunday over here. He said, don't eat her spaghetti. All right. This is all being done intentionally, man. Divide and conquer, invading, assimilating, and uploading. You hear me? So, you know, we got to get to it every Sunday, y'all. Thank y'all for coming out, man. I'm going to leave y'all with a nice selection. You hear me? From my mans, the Butcher Boys, man. You know, we're going to have them on the show pretty soon here in another couple weeks or few, two, whatever it may be. And y'all enjoy y'all eating, man. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow, man. Monday night, we going in. My brother, Mr. Pringles, the barber, is definitely going to be in the building. And we definitely about to, goddamn it, you know what I'm saying? We're going to chop up and drop big game tomorrow, man. I'm telling y'all going to like my brother, Mr. Pringles, the barber, man. He's a dope guy. He's a brother of mine. Been knowing him for a long time. And I just love how he just blossomed into the entrepreneur businessman that he is. You know what I'm saying? Taking care of his family, innovating, and at the same time motivating people to be great. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only type of guys I surround myself with. You know what I mean? So y'all enjoy the evening, man. Thank y'all for coming out as usual. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and listen to these tunes, man. We riding out, man. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that subscribe bell, man. Subscribe to the page. Share on your social media and all of that, man. Tell everybody to come out next Sunday, man. If they want to get next level teaching, man, as far as regarding the scriptures, man, and correlating it to what's actually going on in society, you know what I'm saying? You got me and my pops here to bridge the two gaps, man. You hear me? We're going to bring the two bridges together, close that gap, and merge the two so you can get the spiritual roots. Because it is a spiritual situation going on out here. And in order to be able to see it and defend yourself from it, you got to be spiritually prepared. Because it's spiritually warfare. You hear me? Tap in and walk with us, man. Hey.
Yeah. Glitch the guarantee. E&E. 2020 got me seeing so clear. With your boy shit. Lost some glitch. You cool, nigga. This is
Boogie Major.
we on the rise now. Middle fingers in the sky now. Rolling hay, so we high now. How we ride now? All coops with the top down. And we listen in the top down. Trees got a whole pound. Real G's when we come round. Niggas know how it's going down. Yeah, we on the up, bitch. Real shit you should fuck with. E&E throwing up shit.
And we stay ballin'. We're responsible by sporting. All looking for the fall-in. Soldiers gon' fall in. And we go all in. While we listening to all in. While you all talking. We smoking and coughing. Till we land in the coffin. Glitching, nauseous. Yeah, stepping out office. Yeah, it is that bullshit. Kill him in vain is vanity. Yeah. Do it again is insanity. Yeah. Nauseous a real vigilante. Yeah. Killing these kids is plan B. Yeah. Hood is too hot with an antifreeze. Yeah. Blowing on leaves from these planted trees. Don't break the code, this family. We cutting off legs like amputees. My foot was classic, antique. Yeah. Freaking the beat is a Japanese. Yeah. Ever our cook is a masterpiece. Yeah. When money talkers be Guapanese. Fire and flame mixed with gasoline. Pass on my sons, that's a legacy. Study the gang, now they testing me. They dropped the ball, man, that's incomplete. Beat them so bad, make them retreat. All of these gems you can retweet. Play with your boys on repeat. You pay the price with your receipt. Below $1 million, flipping it. Everyday noise get sickening. Trying to flip bills to trillions. Turning these good girls to villains. Lyrics is sick, butcher with shit. E&E clip what we represent. Put it on wax like a candlestick. We moving units and measurements. Cooking it up in the lab. We just performing experiments. Since I'm the bomb atomic, these rappers out of my element.
Now, middle fingers in the sky now. Rolling hay, so we high now. How we ride now? All coops with the top down. And we listen in the top down. Trees got a whole pound. Real G's when we come round. Niggas know how it's going down. Yeah, we on the up, bitch. Real shit you should fuck with. E&E throwing up shit.
And we stay ballin'. We're responsible by sporting. All looking for the fall-in. Soldiers gon' fall in. And we go all in. While we listening to all in. While you all talking. We smoking and coughing. Till we land in the coffin. Glitching, nauseous. Yeah, stepping out office. Yeah, it is that bullshit.
Glitch, nigga. Perfected my flow. If I'm on the track, then you know it's a go. It's a guarantee, nigga. And I guarantee treat the gas like the Clippers. You know I'm a choke. Only exotic when blowing the smoke. No one ahead of me. I got the recipe. Do this shit easily. This is my destiny. Sick throwing lobs. I'm dunking on everything. Niggas is sick. And I got the remedy. What I prescribe is extra artillery. Get in my zone and start going berserk. I'm feeling like Clay when he went off for 60. With the bullshit, swear to God you can miss me. Best friends with the money. Aaliyah and Missy. I come from the bottom. To try me is risky. Throwing this K like that bitch is a frisbee. Real talk. Let me lock in. Show these niggas what I do. Axe Rain. I'll be standing next to players too. Front line shit, nigga, I'm the fucking truth. Top 6 ever, up to 5 in my group. Nigga still bang top down in the coop. Put your boy up, and we coming for the loot. E&E shit, we the best, yeah, it's true. This to guarantee, nigga, this is what I do.
Glitch the guarantee. E&E. 2020 got me seeing so clear. Y'all know what time it is. Sick. What up? We in the limelight. Get your money, mind your business, keep your grind tight. Stacking heavy, blowing heavy to the moonlight. They say we the hottest, so we gotta prove them right. Built the blow, nigga, like a stick of dynamite. Bars up, we gon' really make you niggas right. Treat the flow like Virgil pussy, so it's extra tight. Don't let these niggas see you sweating in the spotlight. We in the limelight. Yeah.
Flow crazy shit, we should plead insanity. Man, I swear we hot, that's without profanity. So healthy how we do this shit organically. When my dogs eat, man, you ain't in our pedigree. So you think you really hot, is what you telling me? I was just minding my business, you requested me. Oh, you got the memo, it recommended me. Wondering who wrote these hits, now you offending me. Can't get rid of me, your patience is sick of me. Don't just want another tear, like a muscle injury. What's this E&E wave? That's a trend to me. When it came to school of hard knocks, we attended free. Jam-packed the place, never saw an empty seat. We can shut a city down, no empty streets. Man, is shorty that fine? What's the penalty? Man, if nauseous is this sick, what's the remedy?
In the limelight. Get your money, mind your business, keep your grind tight. Stacking heavy, blowing heavy to the moonlight. They say we the hottest, so we gotta prove them right. Built the blow, nigga, like a stick of dynamite. Bars up, we gon' really make you niggas right. Keep the flow like Virgin pussy, so it's extra tight. Don't let these niggas see you sweating in the spotlight. We in the limelight.
Glitch, nigga, the living legend I am. Ain't trying to play for keeps. My plate is full, I've been eating for several weeks. Blow it by the pound, I'm rolling up as we fucking speak. Empty bag rappers, most these niggas be trash to me. Raise your hand before you speak, fuck what you asking me. No limit to this bread that I get. Nigga, I'm Master P, total body fuel. Practicing what the fuck I preach. Got a Lisa Turtle, thirsty niggas be worse than screech. I'm by the Bayside, Ocean View shit, I stay high. Shorty rolling up, it's going down like a poop slide. I be pulling up from deep, nigga, that's Dame time. You can never walk in my shoes, we ain't the same size. Hottest nigga, point blank shit, I gotta be G with mine. Find out niggas can't shoot, we zone them every time. Want the best for all of my niggas, this little light of mine got us on our way to the top. Nigga, now watch
We in the limelight. Get your money, mind your business, keep your grind tight. Stacking heavy, blowing heavy to the moonlight. They say we the hottest, so we gotta prove them right. Built the blow, nigga, like a stick of dynamite. Bars up, we gon' really make you niggas right. Treat the flow like Virgin pussy, so it's extra tight. Don't let these niggas see you sweating in the spotlight. We in the limelight, yeah.